Hello, hello, everybody. Hope everyone's well. I wanted to bring this story. It is back a couple of years ago now, and it happened in Woking in Surrey, where a stepmother, and her father killed their 10-year-old daughter, and the abuse she suffered was terrible. So I just want to bring this news over to you. Bear with.
I killed my daughter. I beat her up too much.
Police, hello?
I've never seen such horrific suffering of a young person.
A murder investigation into the death of a 10-year-old girl.
There we go.
Very caring, very confident little girl. I don't think I've ever felt such sadness.
The injuries to her body were over 70 in number.
3 people left the country.
It's a family on the run without the girl who's been killed.
We started a manhunt.
Sarah's death was an incident.
Do you love Sarah?
No comment.
Did you care about her at all?
No comment.
Visible shock in the court. Some of the jurors' mouths literally dropped open. It was one of the most extraordinary days of evidence that the Old Bailey has seen in recent years.
She looked such a gorgeous girl as well. And typically homeschooled again.
Sorry, police, how can I help?
Hello?
Hello, how can I help?
I killed my daughter.
Surrey police had received a call overnight indicating that the young girl was in a home. She would be found dead.
My daughter is dead.
Who killed your daughter?
It's me.
Okay,
Father.
how?
I said she was looking up to the kitchen side.
I'm going to need you to slow down, okay? How have you killed your daughter?
I beat her up. It wasn't my intention to kill her, but I beat her up too much.
Where are you?
I've left the property. I'm going to come back.
He's not in the UK.
The call handler tries to establish where he is, but the man refuses to say. He wanted them to go round to his house in Woking.
Police! Don't leave the door open. Police, hello, anyone in?
And officers managed to secure entry to the property.
Police, hello?
Very clean and tidy property, very.
I just want to say that this is my own thoughts and processes on this case that happened in Surrey. It shouldn't have happened. Unfortunately, the girl was homeschooled, so all her injuries were hidden from the authorities and things like that. But, you know, this comes with viewer discretion. Some images, you know, hopefully they've blurred it out. I should have watched this first, but I'm sure they would have blurred it out. But, you know, please be advised, if it upsets you, take a break from it. And I'll just carry on now.
Sparse in terms of its decoration.
Police, hello?
And officers made their way as they were directed to one of the bedrooms where they found Sarah's body.
Terrible.
Sarah was lying on the bed. She was very peaceful in how she looked, and officers found a note that was just next to Sarah's body.
At least she's in a better place now.
Whoever see this note, it's me, Urfan Sharif, who killed my daughter by beating.
They
I'm
don't
running away
deserve to
because
be
I'm
parents.
scared, but I promise that I will hand over myself and take punishment.
When I think of Sarah, my immediate image of her is her smile. She had the cutest, biggest smile with her little cheeks. And that is the first thing that pops into my head. Sarah was a very caring, very confident little girl. What we remember is she was an absolute chatterbox. And she wanted to just talk to absolutely everybody and anyone. She loved singing and dancing. One of the memories that will always stay with me is when she came.
Oh, bless. Take a breath.
On Christmas, she wrote a song. And her and her little friend had written lyrics. And so she came to my office. Mrs. Chambers, we've written a song. We want to share it with you. And I remember saying to her, Sarah, what do you want to do when you grow up? And she said to me, I want to sing. She said, I'm going to be on X Factor. She said, I want to be on X Factor. She said, and I want
I'm
to
sure
win it.
she would have done as well.
Sarah was born at Wexham Park Hospital in Slough into this very, very difficult family environment. And in fact, within about the first year of her life, she's been in temporary foster care.
Two
twice.
dummies.
Irfan Sharif, the father, he'd come over from Pakistan. He worked as a taxi driver in Woking.
Sarah's father had a history
Evil
of violence.
eyes.
He'd been violent to previous partners. So it's a very difficult start to life. But ultimately, she ends up living with her mother, Olga Sharif, a Polish woman that Irfan Sharif had met in Poland and had married. She seems to have been quite a vulnerable character. Some allegations are made, apparently, by Sarah about violence from her mother. We'll never quite know whether they were encouraged by Sarah's father, but certainly the net result was Sarah Sharif being placed in the Irfan Sharif household. And by that time, he had a new partner, Binish Batul, who basically became Sarah's stepmother.
Binish Batul was Sarah's stepmother. She was a stay-at-home mum. She was very busy. She was looking after 6 children, so had a very busy life. Sarah's uncle, Faisal Malik, moved over from Pakistan to the UK and moved into this small flat. And by that time, you had 3 adults and 6 children crammed into this really small space.
What neighbours heard was a household where there was a lot of disturbance. There was sort of banging, sounds of crashing, could be smacking. They hear a lot of swearing at the children.
The messaging that we had between Baynash and her sisters was very important because that gave us a real oversight, I would say, of what was going on in that.
Now, I can't understand why neighbours never, when they saw something, they should have said something. My famous saying is that every child deserves a parent or parents, but not every parent deserves a child. And these 2 parents certainly didn't deserve Sarah whatsoever. And that the injuries, if they go into details, are literally horrific. I've never known a case of the injuries to a child being so severe as what this one is. And it's in my country as well, UK, which is shameful. But I'll carry on with the recorder.
House at that time.
Irfan is going crazy, beating Sarah up. I'm kind of having a panic attack. I have Russia and I'm literally dying. What the hell shall I do?
Why? What did she do?
He's literally going to break her arm or leg. I have no idea what to do.
No.
She's covered in bruises, literally beaten black.
And where's Irfan?
Sitting on his fat bum and playing Ludo.
Terrible.
The school is starting to see bruising on Sarah. By now she's wearing a hijab. It may be that she's starting to wear a hijab to hide the other signs of bruising.
Definitely.
And the school are concerned enough about these bruises that they see that they contact Surrey County Council. They listen to the various accounts from the parents, from Sarah, as to how it is that she's received these bruises, and after 6 days, Surrey County Council say to the school that school should take no further action and should monitor
No.
Sarah.
They should have did more.
Soon after Sarah turned up to school with a mark on her cheek, her stepmother, Beenish Batul, went to the school and she was really defensive and said it was caused by a pen. There was an entry on the child protection computer system which had noted that Beenish Batul had used really foul language towards the children. Then the Easter holiday came, and on the first day that Sarah was meant to return, the school, the head teacher, got an email from Sarah's father saying that he was going to pull Sarah out of school to homeschool her.
Sadly, most of these cases of homeschool
the
are
family
children
move house.
abuse.
So they move out of their very small 2-bedroom flat into a bigger semi-detached house in Woking.
They're a large family, 6 children. A bit of a surprise because they're quite small houses, 3 bedrooms. But they looked so happy, and the younger children cartwheeled all the way down the back garden. It's a nice garden with a big lawn. And we just thought it was going to be quite a happy family if they decided to move in. That was my first impression.
So once they moved into this 3-bedroom house, they presented themselves as a happy family. They were friendly with the neighbours, but one thing that neighbours did notice was that Sarah was not being taken to school.
She always wore her hijab and she was well dressed, but she seemed separate, perhaps a bit withdrawn, pale.
The only thing that was a bit odd was the silence. Once the children had come in from playing outside in the garden, it became silent.
The move should have solved some of this family's problems. They had suddenly a lot more space. They had a lot more rooms for everybody to sleep in. But what's clearly happening behind closed doors is a real escalation of violence against Sarah Sharif. One neighbour at the back hears a scream one day, which is cut dramatically short, but that is the only real sign for the neighbours of the terrible things that are going on in that house.
There was evidence that Sarah was being beaten with a cricket bat. She was also being beaten with a white metal pole that was from a children's high chair. She was being burnt, and she was even being bitten.
Fucking terrible.
Despite what Sarah was
Sorry,
going
my
through,
language,
what was
but
really striking was
terrible.
that she still managed to be this really joyous child. She was smiling, she was singing, she was dancing.
At the house, police found these beautiful, heartfelt notes that Sarah Sharif had written to both her father and her stepmother, saying how much she loved them, saying that this was the best family in the world. Even through all this torment and agony, it had become so normalised to her.
This is probably one of the worst cases I think I've heard of in a very long time. And when this came out in 2023, it really affected me. I had tears running down my face when I first heard it on the news, and then did some more digging behind the scenes to find out a bit more about the family and the so-say parents that don't deserve to be bloody parents. These 2 people are just creatures, you know, they're monsters. You know, for what they did to Sarah is unbelievable. And Sarah looked a gorgeous girl. I mean, she had, you know, a bright future ahead of her. You know, like they said, that she wanted to be on Britain's Got Talent. And I'm sure she could have made it there if the parents or these monsters didn't do what they flipping did to her. But I'll carry on playing it anyway.
On the day that Sarah died, Beenish Batul calls Irfan Sharif multiple times, telling him to come home. Something is wrong with Sarah. Irfan Sharif heads home. Before he does so, he's caught on CCTV outside the local co-op, and it's the last time that he's spotted on camera before Sarah dies.
Oops, too small.
Irfan Sharif arrives back at the family house. By that point, Sarah has seriously deteriorated, and he thinks she's messing around. So he picks up a white metal pole, he whacks her a number of times, and then soon after, Sarah died.
Sorry about my green screen, but I have got a portable one
That
to put up
evening,
behind me.
first of all, they phone a travel agent.
Welcome to Southwell Travel. How may I help?
Hi there. I'd like to know about ticket prices to Pakistan.
All right. So where in Pakistan you want to go, ma'am?
Islamabad.
Binish Batul sounds extraordinarily calm.
Your travel dates, please.
I'll leave as possible tomorrow.
And return?
Single.
It's really chilling to think that during that conversation, Sarah Sharif's lying dead upstairs.
Okay. And how many passengers will be traveling?
So, 4 adults and 4 kids.
They don't end up using that travel agent. They end up using a friend of Irfan Sharif.
So I told him I got 2 quotations. One is in the morning, one is afternoon 2 p.m. Morning one is around 7,000 and 2 p.m. is around 5,000. Then Irfan Sharif said, okay, Nadeem, book morning one. Then I said, are you stupid? There is just 1 hour difference. He decided, Irfan Sharif, okay, book 2 p.m. one.
The morning after Sarah has died, the entire family, without her, get into the BMW X5. They head down the road to the M25. They drive to Heathrow Airport. You can see them on CCTV arriving at the short stay car park. They leave the car unlocked, and then you see the whole family, Irfan Sharif, his wife, his brother, and all the children, apart from Sarah, then going through security at Heathrow Airport. It's a family on the run without the girl who's been killed.
The family fly from London Heathrow Airport to Bahrain and then to Islamabad in Pakistan. They arrive at around 5:30 local time. It was then when Irfan Sharif called the police in the UK.
Where are you right now?
I cannot give more details. I promise I'll come back.
I need to know where you are.
He wouldn't come back.
Police in Surrey, who have launched a murder investigation into the death of a 10-year-old girl, say that 3 people who they want to speak to left the country on Wednesday.
Police arrived here in the early hours of Thursday morning following what's described as a concern for safety. Now, it was once inside the property that they found the body of a 10-year-old girl.
I don't think I've ever felt such sadness. And I think I say that on behalf of all the staff and the community. I think the shock was just immense. Personally, talking as a head teacher, I don't think you're ever ready for something like that.
The injuries to her body were over 70 in number. She had broken bones, she had multiple bruises, a very serious injury to her brain. There were indications that she'd been bound, and she had burns across her body, including 1 burn on her buttock area.
Terrible.
That would have been caused by a domestic iron. I find it truly dreadful. Your natural reaction when somebody must come towards you with an iron would be to flinch and to move back. But the only way that injury could have been inflicted was by somebody else helping to restrain her.
Told you this is shocking.
Bruises and breaks are likely to have been caused through being hit with implements. As if it couldn't get any more horrific, the indication was that at times Sarah was hooded with a plastic bag and made to suffer injuries whilst having a bag placed over her head.
Viewer discretion.
We started what we would call a manhunt. It is believed Irfan travelled to Islamabad in Pakistan in company with his partner and his brother on Wednesday the 9th of August.
I'm Caroline Davis. I'm the BBC's Pakistan correspondent based here in Islamabad. Pakistan and the UK don't have an extradition treaty, and that poses problems unless they decide to come voluntarily.
It's very complex structure in Pakistan and a very complex operating framework. We had no conversations with law enforcement agencies overseas.
We realised that the family had a connection to the city of Jhelum, so we decided that we were going to travel there to see if we could get more information. Jhelum is about a 2-hour drive away from Islamabad, population of a bit over 1 million. So when we got to Jhelum, we went first.
As I say, you may be able to run, but you can't hide from this. You have to serve justice to what you did to that little girl. I'm, even now, 2 years, 3 years later, this still shocks me to re-listen to everything.
To go and speak to this lawyer contact who gave us a telephone number that he said was to Irfan Sharif, but we were still not clear at this point whether or not this was Irfan's telephone, whether this was a friend, whether this was family member. We then got a response back saying, sorry, we are unable to give you any statement at the moment. Every day or so, we'd get an update from the police saying that they were raiding another property or they were looking in a different area. So we knew there was a lot of pressure on the Pakistan police about this particular case. Then we started to hear reports from Irfan Sharif's family. They said that the Pakistan police were picking up relatives in their family, taking them in for questioning, and according to the family, coming up with false charges against their relatives. They took the Punjab police to court to stop them from doing this. In court, we did hear from the police who said that they were interviewing some of these family members, but they denied the fact that they were bringing any of these false charges. We spoke to police sources who started to suggest that they thought that the family were being helped by someone in Pakistan to try to hide. That's what led us to Rasik. So it took us months of conversations, tip-offs and leads, but long after the manhunt was over, we found him. Rasik is a relative of Irfan's by marriage.
Assalamu alaikum.
Okay.
Irfan Sharif room.
This is Irfan's room.
This Irfan room.
This is where he stayed.
इधर रुके हैं, इधर सोए हैं, इधर टेबल पे खाना खाते थे, बैठते थे, बिना से भी मीटिंग करते थे कि लायर से राब्ता करें, ठीक है, पुलिस से राब्ता करें उधर. अक्सर उनकी बिनश की और उसकी मीटिंग जब.
So he took us into all of the different rooms, pointed out where the family had slept, pointing out where they ate, where the children had played. We then went up to the roof, and from there he showed us how he'd been able to spot the police coming.
इधर से भी पुलिस नजर आती है, ठीक है, चारों साइडों से. ये 2 रोड, ये इसी तरह जो इसके अंदर चले जाते थे.
You hid in here?
हाँ, उधर इसके अंदर.
You still hid them from the police, knowing that the police wanted to talk to them about Sarah's death. Did you ever not feel like you were doing the wrong thing by hiding these adults?
मैंने मदद की है इरफान की, और वो जो छोटे बच्चे थे ना, अगर मैं मदद ना करता वो जलील हो.
One of the other things that I found really surprising about speaking to Rasik was the fact that he said that the family weren't actually always in hiding. He took them to go and have haircuts. He took them to go and have pizza and ice cream. He was able to transport the whole family without anyone stopping them. We'd started to try to have contact with the grandfather, but so far he'd never wanted to say anything publicly. He decided that he did want to talk to us.
Did Irfan tell you what had happened to Sarah?
Wasn't an accident.
After Sarah died, did he explain to you why he'd come to Pakistan?
बच्ची फौत हुई है तो जब आदमी को जान पर चोट लगे तो ज़ाहिर है बंदे की सोचने की सलाहियत कम हो जाती है वो खौफ के मारे आ गए।
We'd spoken to Mohammed Sharif earlier that day. We had put the material out on broadcast. We had then all gone to bed, and it was the middle of the night when we were then sent this video.
There are a couple of things I would like to address. Firstly, I would like to talk about Sarah. Sarah's death was an incident.
It was
Our family in Pakistan are severely affected by all that is going on. They are harassing my extended family.
We were really struck by the fact that Sarah is only mentioned once, calling her death an incident. She's then not mentioned throughout the course of the rest of the video.
The police is registering fake cases against all of these people to put pressure on them. My main concern is that the Pakistani police will torture or kill us. That is why we have gone into hiding.
You deserve to be
Then
tortured.
We got a phone call and a tip-off. We'd been told that the police had come to the grandfather's house. Sarah Sharif's siblings had been found at his property and taken by the police. But what we learnt later as well from Rasik was that the 3 adults were with them as well. They ran and fled next door, and they were able to hide next door. When we looked back over our footage, we realised that at that exact point, we would have been meters away from where those adults were hiding while we were filming. We started to hear rumours that they might have left the country. Then we got a message showing that the adults were flying from Sialkot Airport to Gatwick.
They are coming for you. It still baffles me what they did to this little girl. I mean, she's so innocent and that, but I'm glad they came back and took the justice that was served to them. Oops, let me play.
I found out that they were booked onto a flight, and quite quickly our thoughts then turned to what arrangements we needed to put in place to make sure that they were met at the airport.
When the police go onto the plane to arrest them, they're sitting in the luxury of business class. When you consider what had happened to Sarah Sharif, that seems an extraordinary decision.
They were met on the plane. They were arrested from their seats.
You okay just to swap over? Just this is the only luggage.
Yeah, that's the only luggage I'm taking.
So one cabin bag between you and your partner. Yeah. I don't have any bags. You have no bag.
They know exactly what's going to happen. They're handcuffed in front of all the other business class passengers. And then taken down off the plane.
Yeah, could you just confirm your name for me, please, sir? Yeah, what street?
They were very cooperative with officers.
You were therefore arrested for the murder of Sarah Sharif.
From the injuries sustained by her and the investigation conducted, you are suspected of her murder.
You are suspected of her murder.
They were taken into police vans and conveyed to the custody station.
Can I just ask you to introduce yourself, please?
So my name is Binish Patul.
And you are about to be interviewed for the offence of murder.
During the course of the next few days, they were interviewed by specialist detective officers.
What happened to Sarah?
No comment.
What did you see?
No comment.
Whose choice was it? How you left Sarah?
No comment.
In those interviews, they gave no comment to any of the questions that were put to them.
It says here, I did legally punish my daughter.
Yeah, कहा गया कि मैंने कानूनी तौर पे अपनी बेटी को
And she died.
और वो फौत हो गई.
Okay. No. Explain to me what that means.
उसका क्या मतलब है?
No comment. Who is responsible for her death?
और उसका जिम्मेदार कौन था उसकी मौत का?
No comments.
Okay. Tell me about your involvement in Sarah's death.
मुझे बताएं कि सारा
Bear with me. Someone's at the door, but I'll keep this playing for you.
के कत्ल में आपकी क्या शमूलियत है?
No comment.
Okay.
The defendants said nothing in interview, and they were charged on that basis.
Do you love Sarah?
No comment.
Did you care about her at all?
No comment.
They've come home, but they're not actually telling anyone what happened. It was one of the most dramatic trials that the Old Bailey has seen in recent years. Sarah's father and stepmother were blaming each other for her death.
He was denying responsibility, saying he was not guilty of murder, and then seeking to blame other people, and then Baynash seeking to lay blame on other people. So it was a cutthroat between them.
Despite the fact that Binish Bhatul and Irfan Sharif said that they wanted to come back to the UK to fight their case in court, the prosecution said it was only because of the huge pressure that was being put on the family in Pakistan. His original version of events was that he was most of the time out of the house. He's a taxi driver, and he said that he didn't see anything that was going on in the house. He firmly placed the blame on what happened to Sarah on his wife, Binish Bhatul.
Then one morning, there were only a few of us reporters in court that day. He said, I've got something to say. What I said in my note and in my phone call, I admit it. And there was this visible shock in the court. Some of the jurors' mouths literally dropped open. They were open-mouthed.
He was crying. Binish Bhatul was sobbing in the dock. He started confessing to beating his daughter multiple times, repeatedly and with force over a number of weeks.
Hitting her with a cricket bat while she was tied up with packaging tape, and even beating her with a metal pole when she was dying, thinking that she was faking. It was one of the most extraordinary days of evidence that the Old Bailey had seen in recent years. This legal team stood up and said, we need to talk to our client. And then after lunch, Irfan Sharif went on giving evidence, but this time he was saying, I didn't mean to kill her. I didn't mean to cause her serious harm. And the legal definition of murder is if you kill someone either with the intention to kill or the intention to cause serious harm.
Binish Bhatul didn't give evidence during the trial. That is her right. She doesn't have to. But Irfan Sharif continued to deny causing the iron burn to Sarah. There were the bite marks. Binish Bhatul was the only one who refused to provide dental impressions for comparison. Then there was that phone call that Binish Bhatul made to the travel agent. She sounded calm, calculated, despite Sarah lying dead upstairs.
Calculated killer.
Faisal Malik, Sarah's uncle, he was always in the background. He didn't give evidence in court. He declined to. His defense was that he was always between university and working at McDonald's, so he was rarely in the house and that he had nothing to do with it. It was his car that was used to book the flights to Pakistan, and he also fled with the family.
Good afternoon, everyone. Today, after a 10-week trial, a jury has found Irfan Sharif and Binish Bhatul, the father and stepmother of 10-year-old Sarah Sharif, guilty of her murder.
Binish Bhatul was sobbing in the dock. Faisal Malik, Sarah's uncle, he cried as he was convicted of causing or allowing the death of a child.
All three defendants have only ever sought to preserve their own interests throughout this investigation and have shown no remorse for their truly dreadful behaviour.
Sarah's death was the culmination of years of neglect, frequent assaults, and what can only be described as the torture of this small child, mainly, but not entirely, at the hands of you, her father, Irfan Sharif. The degree of cruelty involved is almost inconceivable. This happened in plain sight, in front of the rest of the family, including, for the last 8 months of Sarah's life, in front of you, Faisal Malik. The courts at the Old Bailey have been witness to many accounts of awful crimes, but few can have been more terrible than the account of the despicable treatment of this poor child that the jury in this case have had to endure. Irfan Sharif, For the murder of Sarah
Here we
Sharif, I
go.
sentence you to imprisonment for life. The minimum term will be 40 years. Benash Batul,
Should have been
for
longer.
the murder of Sarah Sharif, I sentence you to imprisonment for life. The minimum term will be 33 years, less the time
Terrible.
that you have spent on remand. For the offence of causing or allowing the death of Sarah Sharif, I sentence you to imprisonment for 16 years.
Sarah was known to Surrey County Council. Of course, they were involved with the family previously, and the school contacted them about Sarah's welfare as well, and they gave us this statement.
Until the independent safeguarding review concludes, a complete picture cannot be understood or commented upon. We are determined to play a full and active part in the forthcoming review alongside partner agencies to thoroughly understand the wider circumstances surrounding Sarah's tragic death.
Throughout this investigation, our thoughts have been with Sarah's mother, with her siblings, and with her friends, those that knew her during her short life.
Sarah's mother has chosen not to be in court, and that's her way of dealing with it. She has been in contact all the way through the investigation.
I'm into my 30th year of policing. I've never seen a case that has included such horrific suffering of a young person. It's one of those cases that touches every single person who's involved in it.
And even
She
if
was
you're not
called
involved,
often a mother hen. She would love to look after all the little children on the playground. That's why they thought of the buddy bench. That's where children can sit if they need a buddy to play with. And then the singing award, because that really is what everyone remembers about Sarah, is her constant singing, constant dancing. A group of her close friends created a memory box for Sarah.
so sweet.
One of the things they put in there was a white feather. The reason they put that in there is when we were doing our memorial service, it finished out on the playground. We had a balloon release and I'd written a final prayer. And as I finished that prayer, a white feather fell to the ground. And for me, that meant
Goosebumps.
Sarah was looking down.
Gorgeous girl. Right, just stop that there. So as you can see, totally disgusting case of horrific injuries caused to that little girl. She had such a bright future ahead of her. I thought I'd bring this to you all today because her memory needs to live on. You know, it's 3 years, coming up to 3 years this August. So she doesn't need to be forgotten. And I don't want her to be forgotten because she must have touched so many hearts. But in another interview I saw, the neighbours had heard things going on and did see her in the garden playing with bruises. Now, why on earth they didn't say something to the social services here in the UK to get checks done? You know, they saw something, they should have done something about it. That's my opinion. And Sarah's parents, if you can call them parents, deserve everything they get. Personally, I think life should mean life and not 40 years and 33 years. You know, on good behaviour, they'd be out in a lot less than that. You know, it's just wrong in my opinion. And that's my opinion. You know, the justice system isn't the way I think it should be. And if we had the death sentence here in the UK, they should have been sentenced to death, you know. And I hope they get their just desserts while they're in the prison and that for what they did. I know usually child murders and parents that abuse children, when they go to jail, they do get their just desserts while they're in there because it's just not tolerated by anybody. So if you can click and like and share this, I really would appreciate that. And in the comments, if you could just let me know where you're from, because I'm new to this and I want to grow my channel And the more I do these recordings, the more confident I'll get in speaking. At the moment, it's just like I'm talking to a camera. I can't see anybody physically to talk to. So that's why I'm a little bit judgery on my words and the way I speak. But, you know, it really would help me out if you could just drop me in the comments, let me know where you're from. Feel free to buy me a coffee as well, because all my donations I get, I'm going to put to breast cancer, because last year I was diagnosed with breast cancer and it had spread to one of my lymph nodes. So I needed surgery for that. And the surgery was grueling for me. You know, I think I spent about 6 hours in recovery when I should have only needed 1 hour. And it was touch and go if I was going to go to ICU. But in the end, the ICU staff came down to see me and reviewed me. And they said, no, she can go to a normal ward. The painkiller I was given, I was really shocked at, because I thought it'd be something like morphine or something like that, or Oromorph, as they call some of the medications. But they actually gave me fentanyl. I was really surprised at having fentanyl, especially when I hear in, you know, like places like America, how fentanyl is a widely used drug among drug addicts. So I was really shocked when they said, we gave you fentanyl, and I think I had codeine as well. But my recovery, I'm still recovering now. And I had my operation in June. I had 20 lymph nodes removed as well, because one of them was affected. And I'm still getting pains where the operation was. And my armpit, where they took 20 lymph nodes from, is totally numb. I can't feel nothing in that armpit. So, like, if I spray deodorants, I can't feel the deodorant hit that area. When I'm shaving, I'm having to be even more careful because I can't feel what I'm doing. It's totally numb. So all my money I'm going to earn, I'm saving up into a pot, and I'm going to donate it to breast cancer, because breast cancer people, I can't think of their name now, they did, you know, they helped me through a dark time. And, you know, I hope I don't ever go through that journey again, because I don't want to. But saying that, I do have a brain tumor, and last year I went to see the neurosurgeons, and they wanted to operate, but they realized that I just had surgery for breast cancer, and they said, we'll put it on hold till about March time when we send you for another MRI. I've got my MRI scan with contrast on the 19th of March next month. And then hopefully once Oxford get the results, that determines whether they leave it alone. If it hasn't grown anymore, because it's a meningioma brain tumor, non-cancerous, it's meant to be. If it hasn't grown anymore, then they're happy to leave it as it is. But if it's grown slightly, then obviously they're going to either think of doing radiotherapy to shrink it, or they'll do surgery to remove it. And as you know, any surgery to the brain can be a bit disastrous and very serious. So I'm hoping it's going to, you know, touch wood, touch my table, fingers and toes crossed and everything else, that it hasn't grown anymore, and they can just leave it be and put me on another 12-month monitoring. So any money I earn, you know, from doing the YouTube creations and buy me coffees and things, will go to breast cancer, because that is a charity close to my heart. So thank you everyone for watching. Sorry I landed up giving you my life story on my breast cancer, but it's just the way it came out and that. So I appreciate your watching. Till the next time. Bye.